What we think ketamine is doing is by inducing a surge in a neurotransmitter called glutamate, okay? By inducing a glutamate surge, we think it's allowing neurons to create the possibility for new connections with other neurons.
Uh-huh.
Hence the term synaptogenesis, meaning the genesis, the creation of more synapses. And the hypothesis, roughly speaking, is that if you're able to do that in the right networks, and those networks are reinforced, there's a phrase, neurons that fire together, wire together.
That is adorable.
And I should say I did not make that up. I have no idea who did. But, I think what we think is happening with ketamine is basically the final common denominator probably being synaptogenesis. And that is relevant to so many things, including depression and anxiety.
Now, I have a really dumb question. When ketamine is creating these new neurons that fire together and wire together, this is like baseline caveman dumb. Is it always good? Do you know what I mean? There's never a chance of them creating bad neural pathways. I know it's not neural pathways, but is it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
How do we know? Like, they're not going to create more neurotic things, right?
So that is a wonderful and complex question. The bottom line is, I don't know for sure. What I can tell you is that empirically, it seems, and this is where, by the way, when we describe mechanisms as doctors and scientists, we're making a lot of stuff up based on a lot of assumptions, right? Which is not to say that people aren't doing their best. We're doing our very best, but these are our guesses based on, empirical observations and mechanisms. Okay. So with regard to your question, the evidence suggests that when you give a depressed person or possibly an anxious, depressed person ketamine and you see a response, well, that would suggest that you're not reinforcing those depressed networks.
Got it. So by trial and error, I mean, not that you're looking to prove my dumb question, but you can just see it.
But, however, I want to be careful not to say that bad things can't happen, because I can tell you that in the ketamine abuse literature, a lot of bad things happen to the brain, right? A lot of bad things, and to other parts of the body as well. And we don't have super longitudinal data on ketamine and its uses in psychiatry either, okay? One of the reasons why it's important that people not just go running to their nearest ketamine clinic when they get anxious, and that they go through a really careful, thought out, formal process. In other words, a reason not to just jump from, I've never been on a medication, I've now been diagnosed with anxiety, I'm going to ketamine, is because there are a lot of unknowns and uncertainties about these medicines that it's going to be a long time before we know the answers to.